My first guest has a thing or two to say about suppression of free speech. Might call him an expert. It's turning into a Friday tradition of ours, our visit with former California Congressman and current CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, Devin Nunes. Congressman, it's always fantastic to see you. We have to first ask you about the breaking news that we covered at the top. It doesn't seem that the Biden regime is eager now to allow another China undertaking of spying on this country. What do you make of this?
Well, Chris, what would it be, a Friday without a hit on your show and without another spy balloon coming over somewhere in the United States? Yeah, look,
Right?
I mean, they definitely got on this quickly, but now they don't know it's a spying device, a spy plane. I don't know. I actually did watch that press conference that Kirby had at the White House, and left me with a lot more questions than answers. But look, clearly, I think the sad part for the United States, and this is serious, the Chinese now are not afraid at all. And for them to go out and send another balloon or whatever the hell they're going to call it just days after or a week after we shot down the last one, this should have never happened. This thing should have been shot down early and often, and they should be engaging quickly in diplomatic relations. But instead, the so-called party that wants to always have talk and conversation, they want to work with all these countries to work things out. They believe in the United Nations. They believe in the EU and all of these organizations. They're not doing a damn thing. And they're letting this escalate. They're letting the war with Russia and Ukraine escalate, and they're letting the frickin' spy balloons escalate.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And you know what? In the finest tradition of communist China, the Democrats, through either corporate America or through their efforts in Congress, want to suppress free speech every bit as much as communists do. I want to get back to Nancy Mace, a sitting member of Congress who I presume has consulted with her personal physician, expressing regret over taking the jab. Do you think that social media companies that suppressed medical professionals and debate have legal exposure for suppressing those medical experts and the damage that may be done?
It's an interesting question. So as someone who has brought some of these cases against the media companies and against some of the social media companies, it all depends on whether or not you're going to get a court and a judge that's finally going to do the right thing. And, will people bring lawsuits? So far, there's been some tests on, not to get technical, but Section 230, which is a law that was put in by Congress in the 1990s to allow these internet companies to flourish. But, now they basically have turned into publishers, right? And I mean, that's really the difference between what Twitter was doing during the COVID lockdowns versus what we do here at True Social are totally different. We don't mess with the timeline. We don't have an algorithm. As long as you don't do anything illegal on the platform, and as long as you're not putting up things that you wouldn't see on, say, Newsmax or your typical cable channel. That's if you don't. That's obviously if you have DirecTV, you can't watch Newsmax now. But we allow people for political discourse, right? I mean, that's, I think, the key, and that's not what Twitter was doing. And clearly, I think what Musk is trying to get done at Twitter. But gosh, everybody's focused on Musk right now because he actually bought this and is opening it up. Nobody's focusing on these other guys like Meta, and nobody's focusing on TikTok, which God only knows what the hell they're doing, which is owned by who? Who? China.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget Google. Yeah, and don't forget Google and man, right. Google and YouTube. They have more in common with communist China than any of us. The hearing also exposed how the FBI sought to recruit employees from Twitter to censor Americans. The FBI felt Twitter employees who are self-described communists should be given security clearances, Congressman. Would Truth Social ever collude with government to censor anybody else's free speech, as you said, just like AT&T's DirecTV is doing to Newsmax?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is interesting. This is interesting territory, right? The FBI paying a company, and this wasn't just a little bit of money. I think it was $3.5 million that the FBI paid to Twitter. Now, look, I served many, many years, as you well know, as on the Intelligence Committee, as the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. I never knew that this was even possible. I mean, a major company like this, a major social media company, and you're taking in millions of dollars in a year to do what? I mean, it looks like what they've successfully done, the left, they took over DOJ, they took over the National Security Division, and then they pushed out into these social media companies people from the FBI and DOJ that and CIA and other places that began to work there that were clearly people that were creatures of the left.
Well,
and how convenient they have like a direct line back to their buddies at DOJ and the FBI.
Right. Well, it's not just government. It isn't just a government colluding with social media to target and silence conservatives. Woke corporations, as I alluded to, woke corporations, AT&T and their child DirecTV, they are now joining in, and basically they took a letter. Congressman, they took a letter from Democrats saying, we want you to silence One America News, we want you to silence Newsmax, and they're doing it. These corporations are doing it. What is your take on all this?
So look, they're doing this across the board, right? They're using these woke corporations to continue their censorship. That's what's going on with Newsmax right now. That's what they did to OAN. And a year ago when they did to OAN, I think not enough people spoke out. Now they've done it to Newsmax, the number 4 company in the country. And what I'm sensing, I just flew across the country yesterday, talked to numerous people in the airport, and I will tell you, it's having an impact because I'm hearing people come up and talk to me about how they canceled their DirecTV. And so I think it's having an impact. The question is, do the woke creatures at AT&T and DirecTV, do they even care? And I think the answer is they don't. And if you look at look at what the SEC is doing with True Social. We're a privately held company created by President Trump because he was kicked off of all the social media platforms. I always say that he didn't need a new company, I didn't need a job, but we had no choice in order to give the American people their voice back. But we have been working to merge with a finance company so that we could take advantage of public financing, have an opportunity to do that. Well, the Biden SEC hasn't done anything with this in 8 months, even though this is the number 1 performing company in kind of modern times. You have them blocking us from getting public financing, from the public being able to participate in our company. And at the same time, what are they doing to Newsmax? I mean, this isn't by chance, Chris. And so I think that sadly, we're probably a long way. We're still in this dark chapter of American history. And I think Newsmax is going to have to continue to fight. And ultimately, this is going to create opportunities for places like Newsmax, like True Social. It's just going to be harder before it gets any better.
We got to get through this. You know what, Congressman, I got a DirecTV in the mail today asking me to come back or join DirecTV. I put return to sender. I'm just going to keep on doing that to all their mail so that it'll charge them double. That's just great. Just the little things to return the love and let them know what I think about left-wing suppression. Congressman Devin Nunes, always appreciate the time and the expertise here on the Salcedo Show.